Okay, so we've nearly got all of it done now. Not much left to do, and you'll see that as you get into the celeriac, you've just got a few little bits there that you need to cut off. Now, celeriac, people don't actually know what to do with it. And really, soups are fantastic. So I suggest people have soups with them, or try and make soups, because then you have something really nice and warm in this weather. Now, the other half is much easier to do. You could, if you wanted, use a little peeler, but I find a cleaver is just so much easier to get through what is a very, very hard exterior. It's a bit like a turnip, not quite as hard as that, but if you saw me earlier you'd realise it was quite challenge to get through the middle of this thing. So we're nearly there, just a couple more cuts, and you'll find them at this time of the year are in most places for you to buy in most farm shops. So let's just take that out of the way, and now we're left with the celeriac. So what we want to do is, again, just cut this into chunks. This is going to cook, and once we've actually cooked it, we'll blend it into the soup. So a little bit more now, and I tend to just use the whole celeriac. And then we're ready to go. Whoops! That's what happens when you're live. So the people walking in and having a chat with you, and that's a reason for the break, because somebody walked into the kitchen earlier. Or what we're going to do is throw things on the floor. Some people say that there's a certain second rule, and that's about how long it's actually been on the floor. So the next thing is, you just need some onions. Now, again, just cut either side. I find it quite easy to do with the cleavers. Again, just watch your fingers, take all the outside off. It really doesn't matter how you cut your onions, because remember, we're going to blend all of this later on. And first of all, what we want to do, just make a nice soup. And lots of people, most people, you know, when they're showing you how to do these things, they'll everything will be pre-chopped up. But what I'm aiming to do with this site is to help people who don't actually cook that often, and even for those who do, you know, we all do things slightly differently. So just one big onion, whoops, cut a little bit off the end, and then what you'll find is it won't rock after that. So just a few cuts, and you can do this with a knife or with a cleaver, doesn't matter. And I just keep on rolling it as well. And then we've got some nice chunks of onion. So what we're going to do is going to put that in a pan. A little bit of oil in there. A lot of the time you'll find that I use things like lard a lot of the time. I try and use older fashioned traditional things rather than using a lot of the newer margarines and oils. So you'll find me using lard quite a lot, but in this one I tend to find it's quite nice just using a normal oil. And then what we're going to do is sweat the onions. Sweating the onions just means you're going to warm the oil slightly, put the onions in, and then turn it down low, put a lid on it. So what you need is a pan, and this is my soup pan. It's huge. I do all sorts in here. And all I do is I make sure there's lots and lots of space. Large bottom pan if you have one. If not, just use whatever you want. If you've only got smallish dishes, even if you've just got something like a steamer like this, just make sure that it's all in proportion, okay? And I Don't stick rigidly to recipes. We've got that in, we've got the onions in. I'm not going to put any salt or pepper in now. All I want to do is just brown them and soften them. And the more you soften them, the sweeter they get and the more flavour comes out of them. If you try and warm them up too quickly, what you're going to find is they go dark brown and they possibly burn. So once you've actually got the right temperature, i.e. you can hear it bubbling a little bit, turn it right down to mark 1 or 2, and I don't care whether that's electric or gas, just put it right down, and you're going to want these onions just softening for about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, and that's how we get a fantastic flavour out of them. So they are still on quite high, so I've got them on high just to make sure that they warm up, and then I'm going to turn them right down. So this soup, all you need is an onion, a celeriac. We're going to put some stock in there, and by stock you can either use vegetable stock, chicken stock. If you don't have stock, then use stock cubes. They're absolutely fine, and it doesn't matter what supermarket you're buying them for. And if you don't have stock, then we're just going to put some water in there. But what we're probably going to do is put something in there like a carrot, just to give it a little bit more flavour. Okay, so I'm going to come back and let me just take you over here. So there you can see in there, and you can also hear them. So that's what's happening with those. I'm going to turn them right down now, and then there's going to be another little video in a little while, and we're going to show you what happens when we add the celeriac, and that'll be a really small, short video. And then we'll go on to later how to puree and what to use to puree. And if you find yourself without a blender, there's other things that you can do, and I'll even show you how to do that by hand. Okay, anyway, this is Angela J. Bailey, and I'll see you soon. Bye.